On the occasion of being inducted into the prestigious Marquee Who's Who in America Registry and its 2026 annual Millennium magazine cover and feature story, Cort Hooper was interviewed, and an executive summary professional biography of his remarkable life was curated for that purpose. This Charles Cortland Hooper, systems engineer, U.S. naval officer, real estate and technology developer, and capital strategist. Introduction. Charles Cortland Hooper is among a rare category of professionals who have operated at the highest levels of 4 demanding unrelated disciplines: advanced defense engineering, commissioned military command and control, large-scale real estate and high-technology development, and capital finance. Over a career spanning nearly 6 decades, Hooper has designed missile guidance systems, led in U.S. naval operations during wartime, personally planned or developed more than $500 million in real estate assets, and arranged over $6.3 billion in project financing for clients across North America. His work has been published in the Harvard Business Review and entered into the U.S. Congressional Record, plus served as CEO, CFO, and chairman of the board across multiple public and private enterprises. His bandwidth of professional endeavors is second to none. What distinguishes Hooper from conventional executives is the unifying thread running through each chapter of his career: the rigorous, systems-based methodology of an engineer who never stops treating large-scale development challenges as solvable design problems. Whether calibrating missile trajectory tolerances, structuring complex capital stacks for master-planned communities, or pioneering business intelligence software for Fortune 500 clients, he has applied the same discipline: comprehensive risk modeling, hierarchical system integration, and fault-tolerant execution to every domain he has entered, in every part of his working life. Part 1. Intellectual Foundation. Systems Engineer of the First Order. Born in San Luis Obispo, California in 1948, Charles Cortland Hooper was a standout student from his earliest years. By the time he enrolled at age 16 at the University of California, Los Angeles, today still rated the USA's #1 public university, it was clear that he possessed an unusual capacity for integrative analytical thinking, the ability to see not just individual components, but the systems that connect them. His foundation was being the #1 graduate, valedictorian, and student leader of over 1,500 students at Los Angeles High School, and the all-city colonel and battalion commander of Army ROTC. He also did residency at the Los Alamos National Laboratories in New Mexico. He next graduated from UCLA with a Bachelor of Science in Systems Engineering, earning highest honors and the distinction of ranking #1 among all UCLA's 35,000 students, a testament to both his intellectual depth and 170 IQ, leadership, and disciplined execution. Systems engineering is not a narrow technical specialty. It is the discipline of designing, analyzing, and managing large, complex, interdependent infrastructures. Graduates of this field are trained to hold the entire picture in mind, while governing its smallest details. For Hooper, this was not merely an academic credential. It was a cognitive framework he would carry into every role that followed. Recognizing that the most consequential work in the world sits at the intersection of technical precision and organizational leadership, Hooper pursued a Master of Science in Management Sciences through a combined program at UCLA's Graduate Business School and the U.S. Naval Postgraduate School. This integrated curriculum, bridging engineering discipline with strategic business and management theory, including in a military context. This was rare and deliberate. It prepared him to lead not just projects, but large-scale initiatives and organizations. And he headed every organization of which he ever was a part. It was in his DNA. Cort then completed his doctoral studies in finance and human behavior at U.S. International University in San Diego, fulfilling all PhD program requirements by 1975. This combination, systems engineering at the top of his class, graduate management training with high honors, and pioneering doctoral behavioral finance specializations, represents a credential profile virtually without parallel among project development executives currently and peers in his time. It would prove decisively to create substantial and consequential results from his efforts, involving meaningful projects. In sum, as in being the architect of the HR organizational infrastructure worldwide, he has created a legacy of positively impacting and improving the lives of millions of people.
Part 2. Military Service, the Naval Officer and Defense Rocket Scientist. Before the public and private sectors could benefit from his talents, Cort Hooper answered his nation's call. As a commissioned officer in the U.S. Navy during the Vietnam War era and serving with the Navy SEALs, he operated within the demanding structure of military leadership, an environment in which ambiguity is managed through command clarity, risk is evaluated through intelligence and analysis, and execution at scale must be reliable under pressure. His performance there was also recognized at the highest level. Hooper was rated the top naval officer in his grade in the entire Navy, and being rated the #1 Navy midshipman out of 6,200 in the nation during officer training. During both, he earned over 25 service medals. He was fast-tracking perhaps to even run the Navy someday, but his true skills and interests developed well beyond the near horizon of his military service. In parallel with his naval service, Hooper applied his engineering expertise to one of the most technically demanding assignments of the Cold War period: missile guidance systems. He led an engineering team as a project manager by age 22, responsible for the design and construction of guidance mechanisms for the U.S. Army's Hawk and Nike ground-to-air missile platforms, systems that formed a critical layer of national air defense infrastructure. This work demanded fault-tolerant design, precise calibration under dynamic conditions, and the leadership of high-functioning technical teams working against exacting specifications. He also decided not to make this work a long-term career, as people would tell him that most things in life didn't need a rocket scientist at all. He then moved on to real estate and high-technology development for the next couple decades. The lessons absorbed in that environment, where a single design flaw in a multi-component system can mean mission failure, shaped Hooper's career-long approach to large-scale development projects. When he later stood before institutional lenders presenting a $300 million master-planned community or alternative energy project, or structured $6 billion in asset financing packages for clients, the same discipline applied. Understand the needs within the whole system. Identify the potential points of failure. Use superior design. Execute with the best personnel. And build in redundancy to minimize risk and maximize probability of mission accomplishment. Hooper's military and defense service was recognized, beyond his 24 service medals, with the Gold Medal from the American Society of Military Engineers, an honor that acknowledges the highest integration of engineering excellence with national defense, as well as gold medals from the American Legion and veterans of foreign wars, plus a rare basket of multiple presidential cabinet letters of commendation, including from world leaders and ambassadors for whom he met and worked. Ultimately, he was inducted into the prestigious Marquis Registry of Who's Who in America and featured on the November 2026 front cover and legacy story of its biannual magazine, Millennium. These achievements and the social status going with along them were manifested in his long-time memberships in the prestigious San Diego Yacht Club, La Jolla Beach and Tennis Club, and Fairbanks Country Club in California. That lifestyle was also accompanied by living in some pretty cool abodes and second, third, and fourth homes in the mountains, desert, and on the ocean, driving some pretty cool cars, and having a full toy locker, plus a string of world champion show horses and a yacht. A lifestyle of somewhat rich, but not so particularly publicly famous. Hard work paid off, and he had the anonymity to fully enjoy it with his family. And capital architect, $500 million. Built, $6.3 billion. Financed. Transitioning from military service and defense science into private enterprise, Charles Hooper channeled his systems methodology into real estate development and capital markets, fields that reward exactly the skills he had spent over a decade honing. As the owner and principal of Old Town Financial, headquartered in La Jolla, California, he built one of the most versatile and technically advanced development portfolios in the region, functioning simultaneously as planner, designer, financier, developer, and builder. This included the first smart office building with central CPUs and distributed workstations in the early 1980s, long before computers became a staple of business or known to the public. Today, smart cities is an extension of that pioneer concept. The breadth of this development experience is notable. Under Old Town Financial, Hooper's firm designed and delivered shopping centers, office buildings, resort properties, health clubs, single-family residential communities, ranch estates, condominium projects, and master-planned communities. This diversity is not accidental. It is the mark of a developer who approaches each project type as a system with its own inputs, risk factors, regulatory environment, and financing structure. The cumulative value of assets planned, designed, developed, and owned through Old Town Financial stewardship exceeded $500 million by the late 1990s. More remarkable still is Hooper's role as a capital architect on behalf of clients. Beyond his own portfolio, he arranged over $6.3 billion in external project and asset financing, a figure that placed him among the most consequential project finance professionals in the region at the time. These engagements required command of institutional lending markets, bond and equity structures, public-private partnership frameworks, and the sophisticated legal and regulatory machinery that governs large-scale development. They also required something more difficult to credential: the trust of institutional capital partners who commit 9- and 10-figure sums only to those whose judgment, integrity, and systems rigor they have known and fully verified over time. Hooper earned that trust and sustained it across a nearly 50-year executive career that included tenures as CEO, CFO, and chairman of the board across multiple public and private enterprises, the majority he owned or controlled. This governance breadth means that when he engages with a complex development initiative, he brings not only project management capability, but full organizational leadership experience, the ability to structure teams, manage capital deployment, oversee legal compliance, and present to boards, institutional and governmental partners with experiential and knowledge-based authority. Cort Hooper is a needle in a haystack. Part 4. Technology pioneer and strategic consultant. In an era before enterprise software was standard practice, Hooper recognized that the same systems engineering logic that governed missile trajectories and real estate capital stacks could be applied to organizational intelligence. Through his consulting firm, Organizational Diagnostics Associates, ODA, based in La Jolla, California, he pioneered the development of business, financial, and legal software systems, early platforms designed to bring engineering-grade precision to corporate compliance, financial modeling, and organizational performance management. The latter was an expertise for which the government awarded his firm a contract to write about in a seminal work, identifying the key paradigms and models for such performance in large organizations. That work still stands as a guiding light today in the field of organizational development. ODA served a clientele ranging from Fortune 500 corporations to regional enterprises, delivering private financial and business consulting services that drew on Hooper's rare synthesis of technical rigor and executive experience. His reputation in this sphere was validated by the publication of his management and market expertise in some of the most influential platforms in American intellectual life, the Harvard Business Review and the U.S. Congressional Record. The former represents peer recognition among the nation's foremost strategic thinkers. The latter represents governmental acknowledgement of his expertise as a contributor to public policy. Additionally, he published 2 of his own national financial advisory letter services, was published in financial industry journals beginning in the 1970s, and was a sought-after financial workshop keynote speaker for major Wall Street brokers. He won over 50 government agency contracts, all well before he was 30 years old. In the last decade, Hooper's sustained versatility has been demonstrated through a number of endeavors. First was his putting together leading-edge and pioneering alternative energy projects on Native American tribal lands. He developed advanced building technology integration and water. Second was his 2016 appointment to the board of directors of Canyon Gold Corporation and later Defense Technologies Incorporated, where his background in capital-intensive resource development, the same structured approach he brings to large real estate projects, was specifically cited as the basis for his selection. Lastly, he culminated a multi-decade career in the financial sector as a senior financial advisor and algorithmic trading systems developer for the international financial trading markets. In that endeavor, he won 2 international trading championships and wrote the definitive book on algorithmic systems fully automated trading, entitled Trading System Development and Profitability. As if he didn't have enough on his plate, he also was a principal and co-holder of a patented microturbine for the automotive and distributed power sectors. Perhaps the main thing he never mastered was full retirement. Significant future contributions to the Smart Cities Initiative in India, a country for which he served the United States State Department as a goodwill ambassador decades ago, will probably ensure that continuing outcome.
Part 5. Professional Qualifications at a Glance. Besides his 3 diversified advanced education degrees, Dr. Hooper holds a diversified set of professional licenses, reflecting his breadth of engagement across development, finance, and investment markets. A real estate broker license obtained in 1978, an insurance license obtained in 1990, and 5 investment advisor licenses obtained from 1969 to 2000. Taken together, these credentials span more than 5 decades of active financial market participation and signal both regulatory fluency and sustained professional standing and performance across multiple disciplines. He's even a senior health advisor and longevity coach, all by design. Conclusion: the profile and promise in summary. Charles Cortland Hooper does not fit neatly into any single professional category, and that has been precisely his value in his illustrious and consequential career. In a landscape where large-scale real estate and technology development projects routinely fail because the engineering rigor, financial architecture, implementation, and the organizational leadership exist in silos,
Cort Hooper represents their rare and valuable integration. He has designed systems under battlefield conditions, financed developments at institutional scale, built and governed organizations at the executive and national levels, and published thought leadership at the highest tiers of both government policy and private enterprise. If anyone can see the whole field of a major initiative, it's Cort Hooper. For a corporation or government entity undertaking a major real estate or technological development initiative, one requiring a contributor and senior manager who can move with equal authority across engineering design, capital structure, regulatory environment, and organizational command, Charles Cortland Hooper represents an exceptional and rare asset. His career is not a collection of major but seemingly unrelated achievements. It is a sustained demonstration that the same disciplined, systems-based mind can master any domain it is directed toward, at any scale. The seemingly Herculean goals of the entire India Smart Cities enterprise, toward which he has recently been called upon to help develop, will require just that. His life and legacy of professional endeavors and achievements, both in the past and remaining future, demonstrate what a professional life, well lived and on steroids, looks like. Purposeful, accomplished, full, balanced, joyful, fun, and worth celebrating and sharing, having a substantial and meaningful impact on many along the way. In the parlance of his early military life, it will be mission accomplished. His remarkable and impactful life, past and present, may be reviewed on his personal YouTube channel, Cort Hooper, through compelling videos about his life and major endeavors, including fully automated algorithmic trading of the world financial markets, smart cities, and the reversing of biological aging.
As one can see, Charles Cortland Hooper, who was crazy enough to have 24 paid vocations, is a man of many hats and faces. This is his story, and he's sticking to it.